Which belt design is the best? Which one's the worst? Do you prefer a toy or a prize? We'll go through it all today on Falls Count Anywhere. Welcome to Falls Count Anywhere. I'm Matt Lambert. I'm here with my partner Jeremy Bodette, and tonight we're talking about championships. As we discussed on our main show, Wrestling with the Business, there's a brand new WWE World Heavyweight Championship, and it's not a bad design.
No, pretty good.
That's going to be up for grabs on May 27th in Saudi Arabia on Night of Champions. Seth Rollins versus AJ Styles. That's going to be a good match. But what do you think of that belt overall? I mean,
we talked about it a little bit on the show. I mean, it was great. It's more classic. It's got the logo in the middle, but it's got much more of the look of like the big gold belt that everybody likes so much. I think it is. I think that WWE is using it as a symbol to kind of like tell the fans like, okay, we're gonna roll the clock back.
This
a
is
little
a
bit
new
here.
era. Yeah.
It's a new era. Like our fans are aging and they're maturing, and we really feel like we want to harken back to the heritage and bring things back.
I definitely think it's the best belt they've made in the last several years.
A long time. Yeah, I agree.
But this got us thinking, what are the best belt designs and what are some of the worst? So we're here to give you our top 5 list, best and worst belts, all across pro wrestling. So let's start right out. What's your number 5 best belt?
Number 5. So this is a nuanced one. This is the AAA, what they call the Mega Championship belt, the current one. And what I like about this belt is AAA is a lucha. It's a Mexican promotion, and it harkens back to that Aztec heritage. It's rustic. It looks almost a little corroded, and I really feel like it kind of adds some heritage or tradition to it. It's extremely unique looking, but it's not gaudy. It's intricate, but it's not gaudy. Gaudy's something that everybody kind of goes to, and I really feel like it's a great looking championship belt, and it's the kind of thing that I'd proudly wear around my waist.
Well, like you, my number 5 is a little out there too. The Lucha Underground Gift of the Gods Championship.
Oh, wow, yeah.
This was such a cool belt. So you had to qualify to be in the championship match, and when you won a qualifier match, you got a little medallion. 7 medallions, and then the 7 wrestlers would come together for the title match. The medallions would stick right into the panels of the belt, and then the winner of the belt, you defend it like a championship, but then it was also like a Money in the Bank briefcase. You turn it in to get a World Heavyweight title match.
That is neat.
It was such a cool concept, such a nice looking belt. Yeah, that's my number 5.
I think
It's
that's
number
good.
4.
My number 4. So, I could.
Oh, he's going to get it.
Anybody who watches our main show knows what this is. This is the big gold belt, or at least a modest replication of it. This puppy, and honestly, I'm not even crazy about the way that it looks, but there's such heritage to it. So many great names, great champions, just incredible matches associated with it. And it's one of those things that I'm honestly not super crazy about it, though I would wear it proudly. It kind of won me over. It kind of pulls at your heartstrings a little bit. Sting, Ric Flair, blah blah blah. I might spray NWO on the front of it.
Keep that handy because it's on my list too.
So I think, this one's my number 4.
Nice. My number 4 is the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship.
Oh, you are digging into the vault.
New Japan Pro Wrestling, their world championship. Their previous world championship. Since they combined it with the Intercontinental title, it looks kind of reminiscent of the Divas title, which we might talk about later.
Might be
Spoilers. But the previous incarnation of the belt, I mean, it's a classic belt. Like all of my championships, I mean, they are prizes. There's something that you want to win that have some prestige, that look like they are worth something.
Yeah.
And IWGP World Championship, that definitely signifies that to me.
Nice.
Number 3.
Impact X Division, the current title belt
With the red X.
with the red X.
Yep, that's nice.
It's, again, just like I said about the AAA Mega Championship, it's intricate without being gaudy. I love the Impact belts because they all kind of look the same. They all kind of have the same theme. They all kind of look the same, and that kind of unites them together instead of kind of doing, frankly, what WWE is doing, and they're kind of going out in all different directions with their championships. Impact is a small company with great talent, and they really, I think, need unification to make it work. This belt looks great. I love the X Division. I've always been a huge X Division fan. I've been a fan of every single X Division wrestler, I think, except for maybe Samoa Joe, who never should have been in it. But that's a story for a different time. And so, yeah, that's why Impact X Division is my third best belt.
Nice. I'm going to go back to WWE. Talked about some of the
Finally.
the best belts they've made in the last decade or so. This is definitely at the top of that list. The WWE UK Championship.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. This was the first belt WWE made in a long time that actually looked like a championship and less like a toy. It's just it's got the design on there with the horse and the lion, and just looks like a classic championship belt.
Where's your
it's,
cheat
It's
sheet?
beautiful. That's it right here.
No, I want to.
Oh, I didn't have the pictures.
Oh, you didn't have the pictures.
The pictures are on screen.
Because I can't. Well, yeah, they can see it, but I'm trying to, in my head, make sure we're talking about the same thing. Thank you very much.
It's on
yes.
there.
Number 2?
So yeah, that's my number 3. What's your number 2?
The AEW World Championship.
Beautiful.
It's a beautiful belt.
It is
I
nice.
mean, it
Big
literally,
platinum.
It looks like a piece of jewelry. I'm a little biased. I'm a big MJF fan, and he's holding the belt right now, so that helps it a little bit. But I can't think of anybody that has worn the belt so far that hasn't really deserved to wear the belt. It's just a little extra gaudy, but for some reason I like it. It's very unique. I mean, when I was doing research for this, I was looking across all the current belts because I was looking through all these, and I'm like, there's only a couple currents, especially with the worst ones. There's only a couple currents I need to look. I mean, this one really stands out amongst all the major championships. There's a little homage to the big gold belt in there, and once again, it literally looks like a piece of jewelry. So for me, that's number 2.
Yep. That one's just outside my top 5. It was on the list. Had to move it for some others. My number 2, though, is the epitome of tradition. The NWA World Heavyweight Championship. The square belt with the dome in the middle. Oh, my God. I love that belt. That to me, I mean, you said it, Ric Flair, Harley Race, all the classic traditional wrestlers and still going today. I mean, even Nick Aldis, Cody Rhodes, they've all held it. Love that belt.
Are you kind of tacitly admitting that it's kind of ugly, but that's kind of a good thing? Like it kind of makes it charming?
I don't think it's ugly at all. What the hell are you talking about?
Well, it's not in my bottom 5 or anything like that. But
No, not at all.
It ain't my top 5 either. I mean, so, all right. Honorable mentions.
Yeah. What's your honorable mention?
So,
Before we get to our number 1, I should say.
Before we go to number 1, so my honorable mention is the current WWE Tag Team Championship belts.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I don't like the side pieces on them. It's got the brand coloring. I love the use of the Spartans, though. I just think Spartans, my high school mascots, so I always had a little bit of a soft spot for it. Very unique. A lot of times the tag team, this is one instance, the tag team belts are where I kind of give you a pass because you're going away. You're kind of going away. It's a team exercise. Again, they're clean. I like clean lines. I don't like the side pieces on it, but the front, I love that front piece.
When that design was first debuted, you remember how they looked? They were like brass pennies.
Yes.
Yeah, that was
And they
disgusting.
were hard to see. You couldn't make out what was on them.
They look much better now.
And they do look better now. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Well, I have 3 honorable mentions, and I had to cut that list down, let me tell you. But my first one is the WWE Intercontinental Championship. Not the current one, but the one previous, with the white strap, the square plates, the classic plate design.
With the countries on it? Is that the one that had the country flags on it?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
That was a nice one. I got the NXT North American Championship. Round plate in the middle. The
current
brown
one?
belt, the current one.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Has that one changed?
Nope.
Yeah,
That's still the same. I love that belt. And the third one is the WWE undisputed championship. Right after they combined the WWE and the World Heavyweight title and made that belt that Brock Lesnar had. Oh, that was a beautiful belt.
Looked good on him, too.
It looked good. And I'll come back to this one again, but the one that went after that was a huge step down, in my opinion. But with that, what's your number one favorite belt?
I love WWE's USA Championship. I love it. I've always been a fan of the USA Championship.
The current one?
The current one. I've always been a fan of the United States Championship, going all the way back to the beginning, basically. Mostly because that's the title they would let the small guys win if they didn't have a cruiserweight. Great stepping stone. This one, it just screams America. It's got the huge eagle that's actually carved into the front. It's got the flag underneath it. It's got the gaudy. No, doesn't look anything like that. That one's hideous. Get it away from me. Achoo.
United States Championship.
That was going to be my honorable mention.
That's
too.
That's an older one though. The current one, it also happens to rest on a very deserving waist, I guess
Austin
I'll say,
Theory.
Shoulder. But it's got the gaudiness isn't in the front. It's on the sides and the side pieces, and I really.
It's definitely unique, the shape and everything. I think I would like it better if the words weren't so big on it.
Yeah.
Like the giant champion, but
I mean, every once in a while I get stupid and I start going to the website and think like, oh, what belt am I going to buy? This is the only one that I'm consistently like, I really want to buy that belt. So for me, it's the current U.S. Championship belt.
hand that over here.
Oh my God.
My number one. My
so
number
emotional.
one is Big Gold right there. Beautiful. This, when I think of a championship, I think of this. This is a prize. This is something you want to win, and this signifies you being at the top of the mountain. So, that's all I got to say about that.
You ain't got to say much.
So with that,
Should we go to the bad and the ugly?
let's go to the bad and the ugly. Top 5 worst belts.
By the way, only one belt shared between us in
Yep.
our top 5.
The bottom 5, on the other hand,
Oh,
might
we've
be
got
a few.
We've got some commonality.
There might be a
Okay.
few here.
All right, cool.
What's your number 5?
The NWA World's Heavyweight
Yeah,
Championship belt.
there's a callback.
Specifically 73 to 86. I just think this belt is ugly. I can't. It doesn't look like a belt. It's got frills all over it. And this is one, you're right, there is the heritage associated with it. And I do get some warm, fuzzy feelings, which is why it's 5 and not 1. But I just can't get over it. It looks very girly to me. And, it's got like 4 flags on it on the sides. To me, it's just not appealing. I'm glad they're not using it anymore. And, I'm over it. What about you?
Fair enough. My number 5 is the AEW TNT Championship when it was first introduced with the red belt
Really?
and the silver plates and the big old TNT on it. Yeah, I was not a fan of that at all. It looks better now. They've improved it some, but
What do you think about that in general? Like having a TNT championship, having a what's the one they have?
TBS.
A TBS, but then doesn't Impact have like a internet
They
streaming
have
champion
they have a
or something?
digital champion or
Digital
something like
champion
that.
or
Yeah.
something. What do you think about that kind of like keeping a championship like that?
It's understandable. I mean, it appeals to the channel, and it's a new version of a TV championship, basically.
Right, but it's and I never really understood the TV championship, but at least that's kind of vague enough. This just seems kind of like the Pepsi championship, or
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like you may as well. I don't know. It's kind of gaudy, I guess.
You
is what I'm
have branding like
tacky.
that on arenas and whatnot. Why not championships?
I don't know. Could you imagine everybody instead of going for the Heisman Trophy, everyone's trying to get the Ritz Cracker Cup or something? I don't know. To me, it takes away from it. And I get it's professional wrestling, but I think they should do away with it if they want to add legitimacy. Anyways, all right.
Agreed.
My number 4. The NJPW World Television Championship. This thing is ugly. It looks like a television from the 1970s.
Yeah,
It
and that's a
looks like
fairly new belt, and it's
an old man's gaudy ring. All
Yeah.
the New Japan belts I'm not crazy about. All the current New Japan
all the
belts.
current ones. Yes, agreed.
But they're not gaudy. They're super simple. They're squared off. They're gold on tan or I don't know, like a brownish color. It just doesn't look great, and I definitely would not be proud to wear a belt like that. Not at all.
Yep.
Gross.
Understandable. My number 4 is the successor to the undisputed title that I mentioned earlier, the WWE Championship Spinner belt.
The John Cena. The John Cena special. You can't see me.
Yeah, I don't want to see that belt either. That thing is ugly as sin, and it was, I mean, I understand why they did it. It sold a lot of toys, but it's not a championship, no matter how many diamonds you put on it or whatever.
What about the follow-up to that? And I think it was Edge's belt where they just froze it crooked.
That's even worse.
You think it's even worse than
Yeah.
the spinner? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Was not a fan. Well, it not having it spin might be an improvement, but it didn't change the look at all. So, yeah, not a fan.
Number 3 for me, the WWE Divas belt. This is a feminine monstrosity. This is the kind of thing my 5-year-old daughter would get excited about. It looks like a toy.
And that's why they did it right there.
It looks right, and it did no favors to the women's division. And this was, remember, I mean, the belt didn't, this particular belt I'm complaining about with the butterfly on it didn't premiere until 2014. But you got to remember, the fans here, they're still hearkening back to the days of, Stacy Keibler and pillow fights and Vince McMahon's special assistant and lingerie matches and the Nitro girls. And it just, it was, to me, it was a little bit demeaning. The belts that they have now, while I still think a lot of them are ugly, they're a lot better.
Oh,
than
much
they were.
better.
This is just a joke. It's an embarrassment. I would be embarrassed if I designed this for somebody. This is not a good look.
Agreed. My number 3 is the WWE 24/7 Championship.
Oh, well, yes.
When Mick Foley debuted this belt, the amount of boos in that building
Oh, it's ugly.
and the amount of boos coming from my couch, oh, it was horrible.
I'm going to tag right on that because
ugh.
it's my number 2. My number 2 is the WWE 24/7 Championship. And the belt itself is ugly enough, but what just really takes it to the next level for me is the fact that it's the most useless, stupid, gimmicky championship in the world.
R-Truth is a 47-time champion or something?
I don't know, they happen past the janitor and he trips one of them up, and now the janitor, is because they were literally doing that. They were doing talk about titleiflation.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
They did everything they could to destroy it. They were going for a gimmicky thing, but the whole point of a gimmicky thing is that there's no weight to it. It's a joke. It's levity, and by putting a belt on it, you're adding levity to it, and it's terrible. So I'm glad that's over.
Well, not much to say about my number 2. You already mentioned it, the Divas title. It was just ugly. Ugly.
It's very bad. We reversed him. That's interesting.
Yeah. Dishonorable mention.
The NXT Cruiserweight belt. I have a soft spot in my heart for Cruiserweight belts for obvious reasons. One, X Division Cruiserweight styled belt made it onto my top 5. I mean, I couldn't put it in my bottom 5 just because it's a Cruiserweight belt, and I would wear any Cruiserweight belt with pride. It's this weird purpley, it's got a globe on it, it's like
7-sided.
it's like octagonal, septagonal, whatever. Like it's just gross. It's overly simplistic. There's no even the slightest gaudiness to it.
It looked slightly better when they changed the purple belt to black, but it was still ugly.
Yeah, I think that barely took the edge off for me. I mean, for me, that's one that I would wear, but not with pride.
My one dishonorable mention this time, you already mentioned it, the NJPW World TV title, just ugly. Brown belt, square.
Gross.
Yeah, just
gross.
All right, what's your number 1? Let's hear it.
The WWE Hardcore Championship. This thing is a monstrosity.
I think that's the point.
Well, okay, so back to what I said about number 2. Like, there shouldn't be a hardcore championship. The whole point of having a championship is to add weight, add significance. Okay? What adds more weight or significance? There's this belt on the line that everybody seems to care about for no real reason. Being able to say that you're the champion at any given moment. Or the fact that someone might throw you through 3 tables off of the top of a balcony. Like, it doesn't.
Or pin you in a ball pit at a child's playground.
They clearly brought it over as part of the whole ECW integration thing.
That's what was popular then.
And they were trying to, they basically Disney'd up ECW when they brought it into the WWE universe. And they brought this championship in, and it looks like a really bad Photoshop job. They basically tried to make a belt look like it had been shattered and then duct taped back together, and it says hardcore on it, and it's not good. There's a term in the industry we use called backyard, which basically means crap. And this title is definitely backyard, and I wouldn't take it if you gave it to me as a gift, ultimately.
Oof.
So there it is.
I know what not to get you for Christmas.
No, hell no.
All right. Well, my number one, and I had a hard time finding a uglier belt than this, but Jeff Hardy's TNA World Championship.
Oh yeah, with the paint on it. Yeah. That one's ugly.
Yeah.
Was it green?
It was blue and purple.
Blue. Yeah,
and,
it was
yeah,
gross.
It was ugly.
Yeah, that was a mistake.
I honestly don't even remember how long he even had that thing on TV, but it was just should not have happened.
It looked like him, right? It was in the
it
style
was one
of
one of his paintings
face
or
paint
whatever.
at
He designed it, and yeah, it just does not look like a championship.
I think that's one of those signs that a company has too much money.
Yeah.
When they start doing stuff like that, because it's not cheap.
No.
Making a belt.
Well, I mean, that one might have been. I don't know. It looked cheap.
It's not. I mean, unless you're giving a guy an old belt and having him painted, it's not cheap at all. So, yeah, doing something like that's a bad.
Yeah.
Would you wear that belt if you won it off Jeff Hardy?
I would not wear that belt to hold up my pants. Sorry. I love Jeff Hardy. Sorry, man, but that belt was horrible.
Matt's naked. Well, that was not a good time in Jeff Hardy's life, neither.
This is true.
So
that's a topic for another discussion.
Maybe we'll do a deep dive into that on another False Count anyway.
So that's our top 5 lists, greatest and worst belts. Why don't you comment? Tell us what you think. What are your favorites? What ones do you hate? Were there any on our list that we missed? Let us know. Be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe to our channels, and watch all our videos. Our main show, Wrestling with the Business, drops every Friday. Falls Count Anywhere drops on Mondays. Be sure to follow us on social media. We got a lot of stuff coming up, some other shows we got in the works, so definitely keep an eye out for that. And if you keep watching, we'll keep wrestling with the business.
Later.